Good evening and welcome. This is the news at 6 on Mitv. I am Tomisin Adebukola. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has disclosed his romance with some of the presidential candidates and political parties is not an indication that he has a preferred candidate for the 2023 presidential elections, but as he has a national agenda. He said as an elder statesman, he has no anointed presidential candidate or preferred political party, but an agenda for the country. He made this known in Minna, Niger State after having separate closed-door meetings with former military President General Ibrahim Babangida and General Abdulsalami Abubakar at their Uphill residence Minna on Sunday. He had at different fora had consultations with the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and other prominent Nigerians from different political parties. Obasanjo arrived in a black jeep with plate number Kaduna DKA 621FQ at exactly 12:30 p.m. on Sunday. He drove straight first to General Abdulsalami's residence, where they had a closed-door meeting for about 30 minutes and proceeded from there to former President Ibrahim Babangida's house. In the meantime, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, appears to be under immense pressure from his loyalists following reports he has yielded to the demand by Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike for the removal of the PDP national chairman Iyorchia Ayu. This followed what could be part of the agreement part of the agreement of Atiku and Governor Nyesom Wike in London, England last week. Our correspondent Fatuke Kunle compiles details in this report, which we will present to you in a subsequent bulletin. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has called on the federal government to sign the renegotiation agreement with the striking members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. In a statement on Sunday, the senior advocate of Nigeria urged both ASU leadership and the current administration to resume negotiations in order to end the prolonged strike for the overall good of Nigerian students, while calling on both sides to resume the negotiations in the interest of the country. The federal government should be prevailed upon to end the prolonged industrial action. He accused the federal government of resorting to blackmailing ASU, recalling how talks with the union ended in a deadlock, a situation that dashed the hope of many students. The rights lawyer is of the view the federal government should commit itself to the faithful implementation of the collective agreement reached with ASU, which are enforceable by virtue of the relevant provisions of the Trade Dispute Act, instead of embracing the fascist option of prescribing unions. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami to provide the organization with a copy of the agreement the federal government recently signed with the United States for the repatriation of the $23 million stolen by the late General Sani Abacha. The United States government had last week signed an agreement with the federal government to repatriate $23 million Abacha loot to Nigeria. In the letter signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, the organization said by the combined reading of the Nigeria Constitution 1999 as amended, the Freedom of Information Act, and the country's international obligations, there are transparency obligations imposed on the federal government to widely publish the agreement on the $23 million Abacha loot. SERAP said providing them with a copy of the agreement with the U.S. and publishing the agreement would allow Nigerians scrutinize it and monitor the spending of the money to ensure the money is not mismanaged, diverted, or stolen. And the House of Representatives Committee on Finance has discovered $33 million contradiction in the figure released by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, as power generated by Azura Power Generation Company. The chairman of the committee, James Faleke, investigating alleged breaches of agreement in the power sector and perennial power failure in Nigeria, discharged the TCN for inability to detail the committee with satisfactory responses. It will be recalled that the probe was informed by the proposed sale of the Nigeria Integrated Power Project (NIPP) by the Bureau of Public Procurement (BPP). House of Representatives correspondent Linda Ike reports that Azura Power Company signed a $33 million take-or-pay contract with the MBAT for the power generation of 450 megawatts to the national grid. But records by the TCN shows a far cry from the figure.
Not only Azura, by directing companies. That's why you are here before us. MBAT was here on Friday, and they will still be here tomorrow or so. So it's not closed. I'm only asking you from your own function as an evacuator of power, what power you have been evacuating from a 450 power generation company. We have not gone into other power generation companies. We've not gone to transport, we've not gone to like what you said, all the rest, just one. And you know why we are concerned, sir? We are concerned that Nigerians are willing to be to set up industries. They are willing to set up industries. I'm sure you have children who are graduates without job. I'm sure you have. Or you have put them in TCN. So they are willing to set up industry, but there's no power. And there's no power, but yet we are paying huge sum of money. This is just the issue, nothing more. Not witch hunting, nothing.
The market operator is the man that administers the fund that is being generated in the whole power sector. So he decides what goes to TCN, he decides what goes to all the generating companies. So they are more or less independent. That is why that is what that independence denies. So that is why they derive their name from.
What we have given to you here are the figures TCN has evacuated right from the inception in December 2017. That's when they commenced the operation.
So in other words, you cannot tell me this one 1,755,900. You cannot tell me how many megawatts. You don't know.
I know, Chairman, 1,755.9 megawatts. That is what it is. It is not any other.
When you sign an agreement with 450 megawatts.
Yes.
But there is an average consumption demand of the people who use Azura's services. What is that average consumption demand?
Meanwhile, the National Human Rights Commissioner said that Nigerians should be intentional in attaining overall peace and development as a way towards promoting the effective and implementation of citizens' human rights and media freedom in Nigeria. The representatives of the Executive Secretary NHRC, Jenny Tohe, stated this while speaking at the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SARAP First Semi-Annual Civic Space Monitor and a 14-point program titled Shrinking Civic Space, Growing Assault on Freedom of Expression and Media Freedom in Nigeria in Lagos. Jenny also stated that the right to protest has suffered in the hands of government, while the mass media also suffers repression. The majority of Nigerians receive the downside of losing the power to speak out. A lecturer from the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, Dr. Funmi Afinowo, said it was the responsibility of government to safeguard human rights.
In December 2018, the Director General of the Budget Office in the Presidency, Ben Akagwesi, said publicly, can you go and Google, that MDAs are indebted to the country to the tune of 10 trillion naira. 10 trillion.
Not a dime has been paid. But let's get the appropriate agencies to do their work. The office of the Auditor General has been reduced to an NGO.
To state that a joint assessment by the federal government of Nigeria and World Bank in 2019 on the public expenditure and financial accountability assessment indicates that there are overall remarkable improvements, particularly in the areas of comprehensiveness, transparency, tax administration, internal controls, and budget credibility.
Records of government activities are made open unless it involves security of the country. Accountability plays a key role in improving performance at institutions, organizations, and at individual levels. Hence, the theme of this event, promoting transparency and accountability in ministries, departments, and agencies in Nigeria, is a quest to promote good governance.
The audit law itself is, while it's not a perfect law, has not really been adhered to by the MDAs, and even constitutional provisions on auditing has not really been adhered to. So while we can say that there is a gap in the laws, but it is more of the political will to obey the laws.
The Lagos State government says it will continue to provide an enabling environment for cooperative societies to thrive in the state in order to enable the societies contribute to economic development and the country's economic space. Cooperative societies need to always comply with democratic principles in choosing their leaders, as failure of which may lead to preventable crisis. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Cooperatives, Adetutu Osonsoya, stated this at the 2022 retreat of the Etiosa Multipurpose Cooperative Union with the theme Maximizing the Cooperative Business Model in Lagos. She said the state government is being proactive by revising the state cooperative mediation panel to settle disputes and crises within and between cooperative societies. Oshosoya also tasked cooperative societies to take advantage of the micro, small and medium enterprises, just as the president of the State Cooperative Federation, LASCOFED, Oladipo Shubule, and the president of Etiosa MCU, Aderoku Akinpelu, made the case for cooperative societies to imbibe modern trends towards global standards.
It is imperative to note that several business opportunities abound in Lagos State that registered cooperative societies could leverage on for economic growth. The ministry has been providing support to the micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, operating in the state and willing to support cooperatives that venture into production businesses as well.
It is only in a situation or an environment where we have peace. When we have peace within the society, we have peace within the management, we have peace between the management and the members of the society. That is only when the society can progress. So I urge, I advise and admonish our cooperative societies to allow peace to reign within their society so that the society can make progress. The leadership of the society can also better provide the needs of the members.
Considering the theme for this year that have been set aside by the Lagos State Cooperative Federation, that is maximizing cooperative business model. We engage in small-scale businesses like the agricultural produce, most of the manufacturing industry. We find that the cooperative are part of this process, thereby contributing a major role, a major economic role to in Lagos State and Nigeria as a whole.
We are saying that cooperative has gone beyond the initial one of only the farmers or the poor. No, in cooperative now, we have seen it that it is a module of a business that is even worth of using for the development of the country. Because in cooperative, we are not just ordinary owners. We own our business, we patronize our business, and we add value to the whole system.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you stories from the foreign scene.
We're back at Biggie's for Big Brother Naija Season 7. Who will bring the heat? What shakeups will happen within this world? We'll be discussing everything. Don't miss the new season of The Buzz, Tuesdays and Saturdays from 7 p.m. only on Showmax. With never-seen-before snippets, interviews and reviews hosted by me, Toke Makinwa. Subscribe now at www.showmax.com.
Welcome back. Clashes between militias backed by Libya's rival government have killed at least 23 people and wounded dozens more, according to the country's health ministry. The fighting in Libya's capital Tripoli was the worst there in 2 years, and has raised fears the country could plunge back into a full-blown war. The United Nations, however, has called for an immediate stop to hostilities in Libya following a day of deadly clashes between the political factions in the capital Tripoli. Libya has been in chaos since the NATO-backed uprising in 2011 that ousted long-serving ruler Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Pakistan is appealing for further international assistance as flood devastates the country, leaving people searching for higher, drier ground. The National Disaster Management Authority said the death toll from the monsoon rains has reached 1,033, with 119 killed in the previous 24 hours. The United States, the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, and others have actually contributed to a disaster appeal, but more funds are still needed. Pakistan's government is doing everything it can to help. The Interior Ministry official Salman Sufi said the country was desperate for international support. Iran says its review of the United States' response to a European Union drafted text to restore their 2015 nuclear deal will take several more days as Qatar continues to mediate between the sides. An outlet affiliated with the Supreme National Security Council of Iran, Noor News, said in a tweet on Sunday that reviewing the U.S. response at expert levels is ongoing and will take at least until the end of the week. The working week in Iran ends on Friday, so a response appears unlikely before the 2nd of September. Iran had sent its response to the European text earlier this month, and Washington submitted its own feedback to the text on Wednesday, more than a week after the Iranian response.
Suggested or made the proposals last week already to all the participants of the JCPOA, and we are now, of course, waiting for the reactions from all of them. We are the coordinator, so it's not really up to us to inform about each individual step and each individual reaction. We are focused on speedy reaction, on speedy possibility to resume the talks in Vienna, because the time is not on our side. The space for compromise has been basically used, and the High Representative, he has shared with all the parties what he sees as the best possibility to proceed, what is the best possible deal, and he is now working actively with all the participants of the JCPOA and with the United States to close the deal on the basis of his proposal.
We'll take another break. When we come back this time, we'll bring you sports stories. Welcome back. West Ham earned their first win of the season as Pablo Fornal's deflected second-half strike gave them victory over Aston Villa at Villa Park. Villa had a first-half goal disallowed with Lucas Digny's corner having gone out of play before Ezri Konsa tapped the ball home. West Ham improved in the second half and could have opened the scoring when Jared Bowen broke away on the counter, but the winger was denied by a well-timed Digny tackle. But 60 minutes from time, Fornal's shot struck Konsa and looked over Villa goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez and proved enough to kickstart the Hammers' season. And elsewhere, Wolves defender Willy Boly scored a dramatic late equalizer as Newcastle were denied a precious battle in their victory, in their battle against relegation from the Premier League. Rafael Benitez's visitors had appeared on course to move 3 points clear of the relegation zone, courtesy Isaac Hayden's earlier strike at Molyneux. But as the game drifted beyond the minimum 4 minutes allocated for added time, Boly climbed above Newcastle goalkeeper Martin Dubraka to head in Adama Traore's lofted cross. Newcastle's player and manager furiously appealed for a foul, with the former Porto defender appearing to have both arms on Dubraka. However, referee Graham Scott waved away their protests. And in tennis, the 2022 edition of the last Grand Slam of the U.S. Open kicks off on Monday. August 29 will run through Sunday, September 11 at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows, Corona Park in Queens. It will provide an avenue for the best tennis stars and the upcoming players to show their skill in both the men's and the women's singles, as well as the doubles and mixed doubles, while the competition may provide an avenue to clinch the number position in ATP and WTA. The Williams sisters, who are the most successful sister act in tennis history, are set to team up once more in the doubles competition. Meanwhile, Rafael Nadal targets a 5th US Open and 23rd Grand Slam title, with his path to the title no longer blocked by Novak Djokovic, whose refusal to get vaccinated has ruled him out of a second major this year. That's it on the news at 6 on MITV. We'll bring you more stories in our subsequent bulletin at 9 o'clock. Do join us then for our primetime news. I am Tomi Singh Adibukola. Good evening.